Hey, what's happening? Welcome back. Another video here on the Deimos Dive channel. I am Mars. We'll just say Mars. I'm making this because I think I have finally cracked the code on getting multi-track audio into OBS. And this may be the dumbest fix in the world, and everybody else has been doing this, but I haven't seen it. So if it helps somebody out there, then cool. But for ages, I have wanted to get the individual inputs of my RME Babyface into OBS. And the RME didn't even used to come into OBS. Like, for the longest time, you had to do like a backdoor software thing using a couple other pieces of software. But that was, in the last couple of years, that started showing up, right? The other problem that happened after that was OBS only sees your multi-channel interface as a pair of stereo inputs. And even if you have 16 channels coming in, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't separate them according to whatever inputs you assigned. And so you would just have everything coming in on a stereo track. And it worked for some things, but not for a lot of others. Like, if I wanted to record vocals and guitar separately, like on one of these videos, I would have to fire up Ableton in the background and be recording my guitar and mic. But if I wanted to also be doing stuff in Ableton, play guitar, talk, sing, that wasn't going to work, because I'm using Ableton now, and I'm not going to fire up another DAW, and it's just a nightmare. But I think that just using vanilla OBS here and not even having to use any additional software, this appears to work. So, as you can see on here, I have my mic coming in this channel right here. My guitar is going into my Tone X, and it's plugged into, I think, input 3 on my RME Babyface. So if I shut up and play guitar, you can see they're separate. They're coming in separately. I wanted to show I can play like some desktop audio here. So I've got just a track I'm working on. There we go. And I'll just let that play in the background, kind of at a low volume, and you can see it's coming in on the other track right there, which is pretty cool. All of these are kind of coming in on their own. So I will show you what I did in order to achieve that. So let's go here to add a source, and we're going to do an audio input capture, and I'll just call this demo, right? And so the device you're going to set to your audio interface, right? And I had never messed with this before, enable down mixing. But as it turns out, down mixing is that thing that puts it all together. So what I ended up doing is selecting whatever input I have here and whatever I want, So like for my mic, I just select this here, and then on channel 2, I just said none. Now, if you were like using like a stereo source, like you were, I don't know, stereo mics, or maybe you have a synthesizer with a stereo output and cool effects, you could do that, and select the 2 inputs that you're using on your interface. But that's all I did, and from here, you can see now, and it may not be showing up here because maybe because I'm using the same thing over here. I'm really not sure about that. That's kind of bizarre. But I assure you it's what I have set up over here. If I go to properties, you can see Babyface Pro. I've got mic line 1 set here. Maybe if I don't want to shut it off because then you might not hear me talking anymore. You would probably like that, but it wouldn't be good for the purposes of this video. Anyway, though, that's how it's set up. And maybe you just can't duplicate or something like that. Let's do this. Let's set it for a different input here. I'm going to set it for the instrument 2 input. And so what I'm going to do now, I actually have this here vintage Shure microphone that my sister got for me. She was at a swap meet. I think it's an old harmonica microphone. When I looked at the model and stuff, it's from the 50s, and the thing is just in immaculate shape. So cool. Such a cool find, and it's got a cool old crusty sound. So let's hit OK here. This is the editor, and I would just like to say I'm well aware this video's already been a dumpster fire. However, it's funny to me, so I'm going to keep it. I did not realize it, but I'm plugging the microphone into the wrong input, so that takes a second to figure out. Also, when you're recording a video and you create a new sound source, it starts recording instantly. Not only does it do that, it records it onto all of the audio multi-tracks. So that takes me a second to figure out, and the sound gets funky. But bear with me because it does work, and it's funny. To me. Test, test, 1, 2, and nothing yet, but that doesn't mean anything necessarily. Check, 1, 2. So here we are. I'm going to set my RME. This thing's so crazy. Look at this. Look at this connector. I guess old mixers had that for an input. How weird is that? So I had to order that. I'll feel like a right moron if I can't get this working. Test, 1, 2. Okay, the problem was I'm a moron. Well, as it turns out, this isn't even going to be recorded on this video anyway, so I'm talking to this for nothing.
You sure about that?
But you can see I've got the signal coming in the 4th input here, and then I've got it separate over here on OBS, so it does appear to work. Now, if you're streaming or whatever, and you're not doing a true stereo thing, like if I were to stream this, anyone listening would have it coming out only one ear, and that's annoying as hell.
No shit.
I don't even need to be holding this. I don't know why I'm holding this. I can just put that down. So what you would do, or what I do anyway, is in advanced audio properties, if I come up here to that channel and then check mono, now for purposes of a stream or whatever, it'll work just fine in mono. But this does appear to work. I will stick a screenshot in from when I'm editing to where if you use the correct video format here in settings, it's called the Matroska or the MKV video format. If you use that, yeah, here it is right here, output recording. Use that and you can enable multi-track audio. You can then select what tracks your different audio sources are going to get recorded to. And I will laugh really hard if my because you can see it defaults to all the tracks being checked, which is kind of odd. But this new source here now, maybe it is recording this on every single one. So maybe you will end up hearing this. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to create audio tracks right in the middle of being recorded. So we'll just have to see what happens. So yeah, that was a very not to the point way of showing you getting multi-track audio into OBS. It does appear to work. I say that with, you know, like just knowing that every time you open up OBS, sometimes it can get a little finicky. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it and it helped you out. And yeah.